Hello, in this video, we will talk about ecology. Ecology is the scientific study of the interactions between different organisms and between organisms and the environment. Includes This interaction includes abiotic and biotic components. Organisms may compete with others for food, and space, and environment. Two major processes that occurs in ecosystem are the flow of energy through the system and the cycling of nutrients. These are the outlines for lectures. In ecology, there are level of organization. It is started with individual. Individual will make up into population. Population will make up into community, and community will form the ecosystem. Further, we will have biome and biosphere. Biotic is the living things. For example, species like animal or plants or microorganisms. Meanwhile, abiotic is a non-living things like water, pH, wind, and chemical, and the temperature. This is a ecosystem, an example of the ecosystem for the forest. We can see here we have plants and many kind of animals. Tiger and puma, they eat other animals. Meanwhile, uh, what we have here, deers, they eat plant. So we have the abiotic factor like soils, stone, wind, and water. And the most important part of the ecosystem, of course, the plant, because plant can make their own food by doing photosynthesis. Meanwhile, this is the ecosystem of the pond, and you can look at the picture and you can identify the producers and the consumers and also the decomposers. Niche and habitats. Niche is not only about a place or a locality, but also specifically how an organism fit into the habitat, the adaptation of species to survive. Ecological niche means sum of usage of biotic and abiotic resources by that particular species. Meanwhile, habitat is a place or a location where the individual species live. Normally, microhabitat existed in large habitat. This is example, the picture showing us the example of microhabitat. We look, it is a large, vast wood space, but we have dead logs, and that way this insect occupy uh, the dead log as their microhabitat. Biogeochemical cycles is about how chemical and organic substances are passed from environments, and these nutrients can be found in living tissues, such as in plant, in solutions, such as water, body, and atmosphere, and in the soil. Example of important biogeochemical cycles: carbon cycle, phosphorus cycle, and nitrogen cycle. In this picture, we can see that a carbon cycle, one of the most important biogeochemical cycle, because the carbon produced by animals, plant, foil, fossil fuel combustion, and so on. But only plant can take in the carbon and convert it to oxygen, okay, by doing the photosynthesis. Phosphorus cycle occur when mountains or soils or stones withered by the weather, and the substance lays into our water system, such as the sea or the pond, and this taken back to the biotic factors like plants and animals. Same goes with the nitrogen cycles. It is important to have this nitrogen cycle so can be used by uh, animal and plants for to maintain our ecosystem. Energy flow, the first law of thermodynamics state that energy cannot be destroyed but can be converted in one form or another to another form. The second law of thermodynamics states that when this conversion of energy in one form or another, energy is lost in the form of heat. How we can imagine about the conversion of energy? Okay, for example, the conversion of light energy into chemical energy to the sugar by photosynthesis of the plant. Okay, plant is doing the photosynthesis and they convert the sunlight energy to chemical energy. That's how conversion of energy in one form to another happen. Okay, food chains do not exist in isolation, usually interconnected to form food web. Means that when the plant uh, do the plants do the photosynthesis, they have their own sugar, and this plant will be consumed by the animal, and then the food chain occur. An animal being eaten by another animal, and then this animal will be dead and decomposed, and then the cycle continue. Okay, this is the picture uh, shows us food chain and food web. Okay, in food chain, just one part of energy. Okay, when we look at the photo, actually towards uh, upper level of consumer, maybe the third level or the fourth level, they are energy loss. This is the state as a second law of thermodynamics. Okay, in food web, all possible energy paths. Okay, there are cycle not just one way but many ways. In population ecology, two modes of growth: J curve and S curve. J curve is exponential curve, uh, occurs when there is no limit to population size. Okay, so the size of the population went upward exponentially. The number of individuals to each generations being leveled up as a total number of females. Okay, means that the more females member, the more likely the number of individuals in the population will go exponential. There are two phases in J curve, lag phase and exponential phase. Okay, it is started slowly, but towards uh, towards